Most older men believe that younger women are naturally drawn to them, assuming that their life experience, maturity, or financial stability gives them an automatic advantage. But here's the truth: attraction doesn't work that way. In reality, many older men unknowingly sabotage themselves with behaviors that make them come across as insecure, out of touch, or even desperate. If you think just being older makes you more desirable, you might be making mistakes that are pushing younger women away without even realizing it. The difference between an attractive older man and one who repels younger women isn't just in age or wealth, it's in the way he carries himself, the mindset he holds, and the habits he displays. While confidence, leadership, and self-assurance can make an older man irresistible, certain behaviors have the exact opposite effect. If you find yourself constantly struggling to connect with younger women, feeling ignored or overlooked, or wondering why your approach isn't working, it might be time to take a step back and recognize the mistakes you're making. In this video, we're breaking down 5 of the most unattractive habits that make older men seem needy, outdated, or completely undesirable to younger women. These are mistakes that can instantly ruin your chances, no matter how successful or confident you think you are. But here's the good news: when you fix these habits, you instantly separate yourself from the men who are struggling. You start carrying yourself in a way that naturally commands respect and admiration, making you stand out as a high-value man. Make sure you stick around until the end, because avoiding these 5 habits will completely change how younger women see you. And before we get started, take a quick second to support the channel. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below. What's the biggest turn-off you've seen in an older guy? Let's get into it. 1. Trying too hard to keep up with younger trends. One of the biggest mistakes older men make when trying to attract younger women is desperately clinging to youth instead of embracing their age with confidence. They assume that to be desirable, they have to mirror the style, speech, and lifestyle of younger people. But in reality, this does the exact opposite. When an older guy tries too hard to dress like a teenager, use modern slang, or force himself into younger social circles, he doesn't come across as youthful. He comes across as someone who is deeply insecure about his age. This is a mistake that happens in different ways. Some men start dressing in clothes that don't suit their body type or personal style just because they see younger people wearing them. They throw on ripped jeans, oversized streetwear, or trendy sneakers, thinking it makes them blend in. But instead of looking cool, they end up looking like they're trying too hard. Fashion is about confidence and authenticity. If you're wearing something just to seem younger rather than because it suits you, it's going to be obvious. Then there's the way some older men adopt modern slang or internet lingo in a way that feels unnatural. If you weren't using certain words before, forcing them into your vocabulary isn't going to make you seem younger, it's just going to make you look like you're performing. Women, especially younger ones, can immediately tell when someone isn't being authentic, and nothing is more unattractive than a man who is uncomfortable in his own skin. When you start forcing trends into your personality rather than just being yourself, you create an awkward energy that pushes people away. Beyond fashion and slang, some older men go as far as changing their entire lifestyle to match younger crowds. They hang out in places where they don't fit in, party with people half their age, and act like they're still in their 20s. But instead of being seen as the cool older guy, they often become the one everyone silently judges. Confidence isn't about pretending to be something you're not, it's about owning who you are and making it work for you. The men who attract younger women effortlessly aren't the ones chasing trends, they're the ones who are fully comfortable in their own identity. So what should you do instead? The key is to embrace your age while maintaining a strong sense of presence and style. You don't have to dress like an old man, but you also shouldn't try to dress like a teenager. Find a timeless style that suits you, one that exudes confidence, sophistication, and authenticity. When it comes to communication, speak naturally. There's nothing wrong with adapting to modern times, but don't force yourself into something unnatural. And most importantly, live a lifestyle that reflects your interests and passions, not one that is designed just to impress younger people. Younger women aren't looking for an older man who acts like a 22-year-old. They are drawn to men who are secure in themselves, who bring a sense of stability, wisdom, and presence that younger men often lack. When you stop trying to keep up and start embracing who you are, you naturally become more attractive. It's not about age, it's about the confidence you project. 2. Seeking validation instead of commanding respect. One of the most unattractive habits older men develop, often without even realizing it, is seeking approval from younger women rather than naturally commanding respect. This behavior takes many forms, from over-complimenting to constantly trying to prove their worth. They believe that by being extra nice, agreeable, or overly generous, they will win a woman's affection. But in reality, this just makes them look desperate, needy, and unattractive. Younger women don't respect men who constantly seek their validation. They are drawn to men who exude quiet confidence and self-assurance. This need for approval stems from insecurity. An older man who is truly confident doesn't need constant reassurance that he is desirable. He doesn't base his self-worth on how a younger woman responds to him. He knows his value, and because of that, he doesn't feel the need to overcompensate with excessive compliments, gifts, or approval-seeking behaviors. When a man starts acting overly eager, constantly checking if the woman is interested, or adjusting his personality just to please her, he signals weakness. And weakness, especially in the form of emotional neediness, is one of the biggest turn-offs. This is where Stoicism becomes incredibly powerful. A Stoic man understands that his worth isn't dependent on external validation. He operates from a place of internal control, meaning he doesn't allow his emotions to be dictated by whether or not a woman likes him. He doesn't react emotionally to rejection, nor does he base his confidence on the opinions of others. Instead, he moves through the world with a quiet, unshakable self-assurance. He gives value, but he does so from a place of abundance, not desperation. He isn't affected by whether a younger woman approves of him because he already approves of himself. Seeking validation also manifests in social interactions. Some older men try too hard to impress, bragging about their wealth, achievements, or experiences in an attempt to prove their worth. They think that by showcasing their success, they will automatically be seen as high value. But true high-value men don't need to prove anything. They let their presence, their mindset, and their actions speak for themselves. They don't try to convince others of their worth because they already know it internally. Stoicism teaches that external achievements are fleeting, and a man who constantly chases external validation will always feel empty. A man who is truly at peace with himself doesn't need to prove anything. His presence alone commands respect. Another form of validation seeking is being overly accommodating. Many older men make the mistake of always agreeing, always going along with what the woman wants, and never asserting their own opinions. They fear that disagreeing or setting boundaries will make them less attractive, when in reality, the opposite is true. Women, especially younger women, respect men who stand their ground. They are drawn to men who are firm in their values, who have their own standards, and who don't compromise themselves just to gain approval. A man who is too agreeable comes across as weak, while a man who can hold his own, while still being respectful, exudes strength. So how do you fix this habit? First, recognize that true attraction comes from confidence, not approval seeking. If you're constantly looking for reassurance, you need to take a step back and evaluate where your confidence is coming from. Are you relying on external factors, like a woman's attention, to feel good about yourself? Or are you building your confidence from within? A Stoic man focuses on mastering himself first. He builds his character, his mindset, and his purpose, knowing that these things naturally attract people to him. He doesn't chase validation because he doesn't need it. Second, practice detachment. Not in a cold or emotionless way, but in a way that allows you to remain unaffected by how others perceive you. When you stop caring so much about whether a younger woman is impressed by you, you actually become more attractive. Why? Because confidence is magnetic. A man who isn't seeking approval stands out. He is rare. He is someone who naturally draws people in because he isn't controlled by the need to please. Finally, learn to be comfortable with silence. Many men seek validation by filling every moment with words, compliments, or unnecessary gestures. But the most confident men don't feel the need to constantly prove themselves. They can sit in silence and remain completely comfortable. They don't rush to fill the gaps in conversation, and they don't feel awkward when there is a moment of stillness. This quiet confidence speaks louder than any words ever could. At the core of it, younger women don't respect men who are always looking for approval. They respect men who stand firm in who they are, who don't waver in their confidence, and who move through life with a sense of purpose and presence. When you shift from seeking validation to simply living as a man of value, everything changes. You stop chasing, you stop proving, and you start attracting effortlessly. 3. Complaining about modern women. One of the fastest ways for an older man to make himself unattractive to younger women is by constantly complaining about modern women. This is a habit that many men fall into as they age, lamenting how things used to be better, how women today are entitled, or how dating has changed for the worse. While there may be elements of truth in some of these observations, dwelling on them and expressing frustration only makes a man look bitter, defeated, and unattractive. Women, especially younger women, are naturally drawn to men who embrace life with confidence and adaptability, not those who seem stuck in resentment and nostalgia. The problem with constantly complaining about modern women is that it signals a lack of control. A man who is truly in command of his own life does not waste energy complaining about things outside of his influence. Stoicism teaches that we should focus on what we can control, our mindset, our actions, and our responses to the world around us. A Stoic man understands that times change, people change, and the dating landscape evolves. Instead of becoming bitter, he adapts. He does not waste his energy complaining about how women behave, he simply refines his own character, develops his own values, and attracts women who align with his way of life. Furthermore, constantly complaining about women creates an atmosphere of negativity. No woman, younger or older, enjoys being around a man who is always bitter, resentful, or full of complaints. If a man repeatedly talks about how modern women are undateable or women today don't respect men, he is revealing his own frustrations and insecurities rather than showing strength and confidence. Women are highly intuitive and can sense when a man is carrying emotional baggage. Instead of seeing him as a desirable partner, they see someone who has been hurt, rejected, or disappointed too many times, and that is not attractive. This bitterness also often leads to another major mistake: acting like a sugar daddy. When an older man believes that younger women today are only interested in money, status, or material possessions, he may begin to approach relationships in a transactional way. He assumes that the only way to attract a younger woman is by spending money on her, buying gifts, or funding her lifestyle. While there may be some women who are drawn to this dynamic, the vast majority of younger women are not looking for a financial provider. They are looking for an emotionally strong, confident, and self-assured man. A man who tries to buy a younger woman's affection is, in essence, admitting that he has nothing else to offer. Instead of relying on his presence, his wisdom, and his masculine energy, he leans on his wallet. This immediately puts him in a weak position because it tells the woman that he does not believe in his own intrinsic value. Instead of creating genuine attraction, he creates dependency. And once the financial support is removed, so is the woman's interest. Stoicism teaches that true value comes from within. A high-value man does not need to buy attention or affection. He earns it through his presence, his mindset, and his ability to lead. He does not view relationships as transactions, nor does he believe that his only worth is tied to his resources. He knows that real attraction is built on respect, admiration, and connection, not on financial incentives. If you find yourself complaining about modern women, ask yourself, what are you really frustrated about? Is it truly the way women behave, or is it the way you are approaching relationships? Are you trying to attract women who do not align with your values? Are you focusing on things outside of your control instead of developing yourself into a man of undeniable value? Instead of wasting energy complaining, shift your mindset. Focus on what you can control. Become a man who naturally draws respect and admiration, rather than one who tries to force it through money or negativity. A younger woman is far more likely to be drawn to a man who exudes quiet confidence than one who constantly talks about how women today are the problem. When you let go of resentment, embrace self-mastery, and operate from a place of strength, you automatically set yourself apart from the men who are still stuck in bitterness. 4. Desperation to lock her down. One of the most unattractive habits an older man can have when pursuing a younger woman is a desperate need to lock her down as quickly as possible. This behavior often stems from fear of losing her, fear of not finding someone else, or fear of being alone. But desperation, no matter how well hidden, is always felt. It creates pressure, suffocates attraction, and ultimately makes a man look weak rather than desirable. Younger women, like all women, are drawn to men who embody calm, steady confidence, not those who radiate insecurity. Many older men, upon meeting a younger woman who shows interest in them, immediately start thinking about the long term. They rush into commitment, shower her with excessive attention, and make it clear that they want to secure the relationship as soon as possible. They might bring up marriage too early, push for exclusivity before it's natural, or constantly check for reassurance that she's committed. This comes across as needy, and nothing kills attraction faster than neediness. A man who is confident in himself does not need to rush into anything. He lets the relationship unfold naturally because he knows his value and understands that attraction should develop organically, not be forced. A key lesson from Stoicism is that we must learn to detach from outcomes. A Stoic man does not seek to control another person or force a particular result. He focuses on being present, being his best self, and allowing things to flow as they should. If a woman is genuinely drawn to him, she will naturally want to stay. If she is not, then forcing commitment will only create resistance. The more a man tries to lock a woman down, the more she will feel trapped, and the more likely she is to pull away. Another aspect of this desperation is that it often reveals a scarcity mindset. A man who truly understands his worth does not act as though one woman is his only chance at happiness. He operates from a place of abundance, knowing that if this relationship does not work out, he will still be fine. Younger women respect men who have options, even if they are not actively dating multiple people. They are naturally more attracted to men who do not act as though they are desperate for love, approval, or commitment. On the other hand, a man who fears being single often comes across as emotionally fragile. He might constantly seek validation, ask where the relationship is going, or try to speed up the emotional connection. He may also start making sacrifices too quickly, neglecting his own interests, changing his schedule to accommodate her, or over-investing in the relationship before it has reached that level naturally. Instead of being a strong, independent man who values his own time, he becomes a man who is willing to rearrange his life just to keep her around. And younger women find this incredibly unattractive. Stoicism teaches that true strength comes from self-sufficiency. A high-value man does not base his happiness on whether or not a woman commits to him. He does not fear being alone because he knows that his life is fulfilling with or without a relationship. He has a purpose, a mission, and personal goals that go beyond romance. Ironically, this mindset makes him far more attractive, because the less he tries to force commitment, the more naturally women are drawn to him. Instead of trying to lock a younger woman down out of fear, a wise man takes a different approach. He remains patient. He allows her to come to him rather than constantly chasing her. He keeps his own life full and meaningful, ensuring that his sense of identity does not revolve around the relationship. He enjoys the process of getting to know her rather than obsessing over securing a long-term commitment. Younger women are drawn to men who move with certainty and purpose. They do not want to feel like they are someone's last hope for love. They want to be with a man who chooses them because he genuinely values them, not because he is afraid of losing them. When an older man operates from a place of confidence, detachment, and self-assurance, he becomes the kind of man that younger women find truly irresistible. 5. Being overly controlling or paternalistic. One of the quickest ways for an older man to ruin his chances with a younger woman is by treating her like a child instead of an equal partner. Many older men, whether consciously or unconsciously, fall into the trap of acting overly controlling or paternalistic in their relationships with younger women. They assume a fatherly role, offering unsolicited advice, dictating what she should or shouldn't do, and positioning themselves as the authority figure in her life. While it may come from a place of experience or even genuine care, it ultimately makes the relationship feel more like a mentorship than an actual romantic connection. Younger women do not want a man who tries to control them under the guise of looking out for them. They want a partner, not a parent. If an older man constantly corrects her decisions, questions her lifestyle choices, or insists on guiding her as if she lacks the ability to think for herself, she will quickly lose interest. Independence is one of the most attractive traits a woman can have, and she wants to be respected as an individual, not treated as someone who constantly needs to be educated by an older man. Some older men make the mistake of assuming that just because they have more life experience, they automatically know what's best for a younger woman. They might try to influence how she dresses, who she spends time with, or even what career path she should take. They feel entitled to dictate these things because they believe their wisdom gives them the right to shape her life. But younger women are not looking for a teacher or a life coach in their romantic relationships. They want a man who respects their autonomy, values their opinions, and supports them without trying to mold them into a version of what he thinks they should be. Another common mistake is assuming that financial power gives them authority. Some older men believe that because they are more financially established, they have the right to set rules in the relationship. They might subtly, or not so subtly, expect the younger woman to be more obedient or compliant because they are providing resources, paying for things, or offering stability. This creates an unbalanced dynamic that makes the woman feel trapped rather than appreciated. While financial security can be attractive, it should never come with strings attached. The moment a younger woman feels like she is being controlled through money or stability, the relationship shifts from romantic to transactional, and genuine attraction begins to fade. A truly attractive man, regardless of age, does not need to exert control over a woman to feel powerful. He does not need to dictate her decisions, monitor her actions, or position himself as the dominant authority in her life. Instead, he embraces a relationship built on mutual respect, trust, and individual freedom. He understands that attraction is strongest when both partners feel free to be themselves rather than being forced into roles that feel restrictive or unnatural. Women are naturally drawn to men who exhibit quiet confidence rather than overbearing control. They respect men who trust them to make their own decisions rather than constantly trying to guide or correct them. A relationship should be built on a foundation of trust, where both people feel valued as equals. When an older man respects a younger woman's independence and treats her as an individual rather than someone he needs to manage or shape, the connection remains strong and genuine. Ultimately, no woman, young or old, wants to feel like she is in a relationship with someone who sees her as a project rather than a partner. A confident man understands that true influence does not come from control but from mutual admiration and respect. When a man embraces this mindset, he becomes far more attractive, not just to younger women, but to anyone looking for a meaningful and fulfilling connection. Final thoughts. Attraction isn't just about age, it's about how you carry yourself, how you think, and how you present yourself to the world. Many older men assume that younger women will naturally be drawn to their maturity and experience, but the truth is that certain habits can instantly make a man seem unattractive, no matter how successful or confident he may be. Avoiding the pitfalls we've discussed, whether it's desperation, control, excessive complaining, or acting like a sugar daddy, can make a huge difference in how younger women perceive you. But there's one final mistake that ties everything together: letting yourself go physically, mentally, and emotionally. One of the biggest ways older men sabotage their attractiveness is by neglecting their health and appearance. It's easy to fall into complacency, gaining weight, dressing sloppily, or losing the energy and drive that once made you magnetic. Younger women are naturally drawn to vitality. They respect a man who takes care of himself, stays active, and maintains a sense of pride in his appearance. This doesn't mean you need to chase unrealistic standards, but it does mean that effort matters. A well-groomed, fit, and put-together man will always stand out over someone who has given up on self-care. Beyond the physical, mental sharpness and emotional stability are just as important. A man who keeps learning, growing, and maintaining a strong sense of self remains attractive at any age. But a man who becomes rigid in his thinking, bitter about life, or emotionally unbalanced will repel younger women faster than anything. Nobody wants to be around someone who has stopped evolving. Confidence, wisdom, and discipline make a man timelessly attractive, while laziness and self-neglect make him forgettable. At the end of the day, attraction is about more than looks or money. It's about energy, presence, and how you make someone feel in your company. If you maintain your standards, stay confident without desperation, and move through life with purpose, younger women, and people in general, will naturally gravitate toward you. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Beyond Vision Mindset. Share your thoughts in the comments. What's one habit you think men should avoid? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.